Well, I can't tell you how good it is to be here. When you've been locked up in the snow for as long as we have, lovely to see the sunshine and no slush around. That's what our hotel looked like right outside. So, you know, it was pretty thick. And we managed to choose a hotel that didn't actually have the rooms in the hotel, so you can see those apartments. You had to walk through the snow to actually get to the restaurant. Then on the last day we got to the restaurant and the gas pipes had burst, so they had no food for us. It was just fantastic. So, brilliant. And there's Mr. Brooks just doing his speech out there in the snow down in Christchurch as well. Well, look, it's next year, according to that date there. What I'm going to do today is to give you an outline of what happens within T&P professional development. And the aim really there is to show you, first of all, what's available now, but more important, what's available going forward. And over the next quarter of an hour, that's my aim to communicate through to you. So when we have a look at professional development within T&P, there are three quite separate areas that we look at. So you can see there from the screen, the first thing are skills and knowledge. So how can we help you build your skills and knowledge? And the three areas that we look at there are seasonal seminars, and the smarter ones amongst you will know that you're actually at one of those today. So hopefully one of the things you'll get from today are some new skills and knowledge. That's the purpose of these seminars. The sales school is another area that you can get those from, and I'll run through the sales school a little later on in my presentation today. And of course the conference. And it's all very easy for us to say, hey, come to the T&P conference, it's going to be great. The reality is it'll be better than great. It will be fantastic, but you won't know unless you're there. And the people who have gone along before have gone, wow, this is brilliant. This is like no other conference that we've been to. But our challenge is always the people that haven't gone to one yet. So please, if you haven't had the courage to come along yet, please make the effort to come along this year. It couldn't be easier. It's only down the road in Rotorua, so you know, you're not having to hop on flights or anything. So make that effort to get along to the conference. You won't be disappointed. So we've got skills and knowledge. That's the first area that we look at. The second area is more specifically for people who want to grow their business. And growing their business in two quite separate ways. So if people want to grow and advise a business, then the academy's there for them for that. But another area that a lot of people don't know about is we actually run a thing called the Sales Team Leaders Forum. And that happens twice a year, and I'll cover that in a bit more detail as well. But if you are looking at building a sales team, or you currently run a sales team, that really is a forum that you should get involved in. And finally, T&P Compliance, which works in the compliance area. And I think hopefully one of the things that you've got today from the session that Darren was running is that we've actually already got an awful lot of information online, on the intranet. And yeah, the challenge is to remember your password, and I understand that frustration because I have the same problem. But once you've got that password and you can get in there, there is a huge wealth of information. Most of that stuff has been in there, built up over a number of years. So it really is a great place to go hunting first. If you're looking for something, don't go and reinvent the wheel. Pop onto the intranet, see what's there, because chances are somebody else has already invented it for you. So that's part of the beauty of being a T&P member, is you can go in there and use that stuff at no cost. I wanted to fill you in a little bit on one of the really important pieces of work that we're doing at the moment. And this is basically taking three quite different areas. So we've got T&P, the ETITO, and the NZQA. So all the letters are there. Now, what's happening for us is that we have always constructed our courses for you based on, here is something practical that we can build that can make your business better. That's always been our aim. Now, that really was a good way to build the courses for you in the past. It's not a great way to build the courses going forward. And the reason for that is that we can't give you structured credits going forward unless our courses are built onto the NZQA framework. So what we're doing now is we have engaged Leonie Woolwork to go through all of our courses and have a look at how close or how far away they are from the NZQA framework. And our aim is to pull them all across so that whenever you do a course through T&P, you can get structured credits. And some of those courses will actually count towards the certificate as well. So our aim is to bring those areas together so that you don't end up duplicating a whole lot of your learning. How many people went to the PAA or the IFA conference? Yeah, a few of you. Well, you would have noticed that some of the sessions in that conference, they were giving you structured points. And there's really quite a lot of confusion at the moment about what is a structured point. And some people say, look, all you need to do is to ask a few questions, and so long as Maureen can answer them, I'll say, well done, you've obviously learned something, Maureen, you can have structured points. But that's very simplistic in terms of the way that compliance works, and particularly in terms of structured points. The correct way to look at structured points is structured points assess whether you have learned something that can be measured on the framework, the NZQA framework. So it's not just enough to say, here's a course, answer some questions and you've learned something. That doesn't make it a structured point. And yet a number of the associations are currently using that as a methodology. So it's going to get tougher for them to do that going forward. So our aim is to make it so that we can provide structured points for you through TNP. We're also looking at whether we can qualify as a registered training workplace. And what that means is that then enables us to assess you as you go through a number of the different programs. So if you're doing the certificate in financial services, we would be able to assess you rather than the ETITO having to assess you. So you can see what we're trying to do is to say, if you're part of the TNP family, you shouldn't have to go outside TNP for your professional development. We'll do whatever we can within TNP to make that possible for you to stay within the family. And obviously, from our perspective, it's all very nice for us to go and get stuff built on the NZQA framework. We do not want to become a series of pointy heads doing a whole lot of qualification stuff. Our focus will always be on practical stuff that makes your business better. It's just that we're going to make sure that there's an overlay between that and what the NZQA framework says that we have to provide. So I'm just going to quickly run through a number of the components now with the professional development. So the seasonal seminars happen twice a year. And the idea with those is to have practical business building topics. So the obvious thing we've got today is we've brought along Dr. Ian Brooks, and he's going to provide you with a lot of really, really powerful information on how to increase the benefits that customers get from your business today. And from what we saw this morning in Hamilton, you know, it really is an incredibly practical session, and you get a lot out of that. The points that you can claim from today are 2.5 unstructured points. So at the moment, we're saying to you, you need to keep track of your own points. Our ultimate aim is that we'll be able to issue certificates so that if we know you've been here, you'll get a certificate to show that you've been here. And then ultimately beyond that is to have a database that is central that you can access and that we can access so that both of us can keep track of your CPD points. That's where we want to get to, but that's not where we are today. So in the meantime, you are responsible for keeping your CPD points. One of the questions that we've had quite frequently from people is, well, how many points do I need to keep? And that really depends entirely on your circumstances. If you are a member of the IFA, how many points do you need? 30. Well, it sounds like there's a bit of confusion there. You need more than the minimum anyway that is required in terms of the regulations. So you need to keep track of those yourself at the moment. So AFAs have a different requirement. So AFAs need how many? Anybody like to has 10 and 10, that's right, Debbie. So you need 10 structured, 10 unstructured. What about an RFA? Isn't that tempting? Yeah. It's nice to think, well, the answer must be 0 because nobody's told me how many it needs to be. I think the thing that you need to have a look at is if you're a professional, and remember that you have to be able to demonstrate that you are keeping up to date with the industry, you'd have to say, well, why would you need to be any less up to date as an RFA than an AFA? Now, I think you would struggle to be able to stand up and justify why you shouldn't have to do professional development. So I would say the safest thing that you can do is take exactly the same benchmark as is required for an AFA. So do 10 structured, do 10 unstructured.
Does that start from your AFA status, you know? When does that year start?
That's a really good question. I'd love to be able to give you the answer, and I haven't got a clue.
It's AFA status for AFA.
Is it? Okay. Does anybody know? Owen? Okay. So obviously for an RFA you've got some different issues, but you know, I'd say look, over a 12-month period you should be aiming for 20 hours. But you know, the great thing is from today you've already got 2.5 of your unstructured hours. The issue for most people is not going to be getting the unstructured credits, it will be getting the structured credits. Dear Rick Garnham's doing a fantastic job with the sales school. How many people here have been on a course with Rick? Yeah, a number of you. Okay. So just going to quickly run through the programs that are currently on offer. So the first one is an initial sales training program. So this is a 5-day program, and the whole aim of that is to provide really good foundation knowledge and skills for people who are in the first 12 months in the industry. So that gives you 16 structured credits, so that overlays with what's happening with the certificate and the NZQA framework, and it's at no cost. No cost to TNP members. So it's a fantastic offer. The number in brackets, if anybody says to you this industry's dying and nobody's coming into it, that number in brackets is how many people have been through that program so far this year. 48 new people. So, you know, we're far from a dying industry. The thing is, we haven't had the tools to help our people develop, and that's what TNP is looking at providing there with that program. And it's going fantastically well. As we've moved into the mortgage and home loans area as well, we've also introduced another program called Mortgage to Risk, which is how to help people who have previously been selling mortgages understand how they can integrate risk sales into the planning process within their business. That's a 3-day program, 10 structured credits, no cost again to TNP members, and 26 people have been through that program as well. That program didn't start until April, so that's been really good response from there too. My big disappointment, and you know every business has got one, the big disappointment is the intermediate sales training program, which when we look at the content, it's fantastic. And Bruce, you've done the DISC program and the time management program through the Academy. What did you think of that as a program?
Incredibly powerful.
Yeah. So what that does basically is it enables you to have an analysis of your behavioural style, so how you work, and then it has a look at how your clients work, and it has a look at how you can make that whole interaction work better, which is incredibly powerful. And then it says, let's have a look and do an analysis of your time management skills. What are the things you're doing really well, and what are the things that are probably stopping you from being more productive? So those 2 tools alone cost us $240 just for the diagnostics. That's what TNP pays just to run that, without paying Rick or anything else. So when you think the price for that program is $295, I'd say it's exceptional value. And yet you've been staying away in droves. So one of the things that we've learned, and I'm going to share a little bit later on in my session today, is that we need to ask you more questions about when things aren't working for you. So one of the things that would be really handy, if you've got thoughts on how we can improve that program or how we can make it so that it's more useful to you, please get in contact with me and let me know, because we'll do it. We want to have that program in there. The idea is for it to be there for people who've been in the industry around about 3 to 5 years. So they've not just come in, they're about that 3 to 5 year span. 2012, there are 2 new programs we're going to introduce. The first one is an introduction to business insurance. So Barry Reid is writing this for us at the moment, due for introduction next year. So it'll be a 3-day program. And it's 10 structured credits, and the beauty of it is being built on the framework, and that means that you can put a tick in the box if you want to be able to provide business insurance to say, hey, I've been on the course and I've demonstrated that I have the skill to provide the advice that I am providing. So if you want to get involved in that area, this is a really good gateway to do it. We had great success also with the ACC program that Tina Jarvis ran last year, so we're going to introduce that as part of the sales school. Just a 1-day workshop for people who want to get involved in that ACC opportunity and understand how they can do that better. I'm not going to go through the conference, except to say that in your brochure, I think it says 8 unstructured educational credits, but you will actually get 11 unstructured educational credits. Oh, now the other thing, Jeff didn't talk about the spread payment option, because we know it's tough times for a number of advisors. So you can spread your payments for the conference over 3 months. So when you tick this little form today and hand that in, if you just want to put a note on there that you'd like to use the deferred payment option, or just talk to the ladies when they phone you up and say, hey, I'd like to take up the deferred payment option, that will just split your payments into 3 monthly payments leading up to the conference. So we'll do everything we can to make it as easy as possible for you. All we ask for you is to tick the box and be in and come and see and participate in a fantastic conference. The Academy this year is going fantastically well. We're quite a lot smaller this year than we were last year, and that's been a really good thing as well. The master classes that we've done this year, we've done a mental toughness course, so the Crusaders went through that. I don't know whether you've heard of that, but they also use the same program that we used, and goodness me, they've needed it this year. But you know, it's a fantastic program just to help our advisors understand how to deal with adversity and also how to deal with success. And then we've done the DISC profiling and time mastery, which are those two components that are also part of the intermediate course. And now it's really just one-to-one coaching program for the rest of the year, and we've got the Academy Awards at the conference. The other one that I wanted to talk to you about was the Sales Team Leaders Forum, and I see there are a number of people in this room who do attend that. Can I just have a quick show of hands who attends the Sales Team Leaders Forum? Yeah, 3 or 4 of you. Okay. Basically the idea is if you run a sales team or you want to run a sales team, then let me know and I will put an invitation through to you to the forum. It is by invitation only, so you need to contact me, tell me why you think it would be worthwhile you coming along, and then we'll extend an invitation. We meet for a full day, twice a year, just out by the Auckland airport, and the next one's running on the 21st of September. And what we're doing in those sessions is we're bringing people together who run teams, and rather than somebody at the front of the room saying, I know exactly how to do everything, we get people to share ideas about what they're doing well in their business and what challenges they're having. And from that, we've then built a booklet around it so that we've got some wisdom that we've created over time, and we'll just keep adding to that as we go. So if you want to participate in that, just let me know. TNP compliance, I think we've probably pretty much covered today. So one of the final slides there, that's the split in TNP between those people who are RFAs and those people who are AFAs. So the vast majority of TNP members are RFAs. So that's why I think we've got a responsibility now to communicate to you that an RFA is not an excuse to hide in your cave from regulation. And an RFA is a really good opportunity for you to stand up to the plate and say, I'm going to be a professional and I'm going to do all of the things that I should be doing to be a professional, and that includes doing my CPD. And I know that I'm preaching to the converted because you're the ones that are here today. But you know, the seminar series will have talked to around about 200 people if the snow hadn't come. Well, there's another 200 people within TNP who don't come along, so we've got to try and get the message out to them as well. So just very quickly in summary, I don't think there is any doubt that TNP has the most comprehensive professional development program on the market. And we're annoying our competitors immensely, because every time they think they're about to catch up, we just introduce something else. So 2012 will just keep raising that bar. So I think you've made a really good choice to be part of the TNP family, because that really is a comprehensive offering, and you can choose to be involved as much or as little as you want in that program. What I need your help with is helping me understand what you want to be different. What things we're not currently doing that you think, hey, it would be great if you guys did this. Because otherwise we're sitting in the back room trying to think and double think what it is that you need, and we won't necessarily know. So if you've got some ideas, I'd love to hear from you and just share those with me. Just before I tie up, I'm just going to very quickly introduce Ian Brooks' book. Before his session. But before I do that, I'm going to introduce my book. That's pretty cheeky, eh? So you have got a free copy of my book on your desk, and the normal retail price of that is $40. So how much have you just saved? $40. And the great news is Ian's book is only $25 including GST, so you'll still have $15 in your pocket if you purchase that today. So Ian's books are just at the back of the room, so when you leave, you can pick up a book and just leave your business card, and Ian will invoice you later. So you don't need to make any payment today. Pick up a book, leave your business card, and Ian will introduce you later. If you want to know anything more about the book and customising it, Tony Sturm is your man. So have a talk with him. Okay. So thanks very much for your time.